In fact, the years of the war seemed to last longer than all the rest of my life put together. And I remember looking at my father and thinking, well, you know, you've never seen a dead man. And I've seen scores and scores and scores of dead men. You've never seen a man shot. You've never seen a man die. Or if you have, it would be in, well, I say, pleasant family circles, with no pain attached to it, maybe. So I really felt much older than my parents, much older. And I think that feeling continued for the rest of my life.
The mourners here, they flock in to say, give their condolences to the people who are bereaved. And they have to, not all accommodated naturally enough in one room. They have to separate, and some of them would be in the kitchen, some would be in the drawing room. There were drawing rooms those days, it's called a lounge now, drawing room. Some of them would be in the room with the corpse, the bedroom. The tradition, and I think it perseveres to the present day to some extent. One night in the home for the corpse, and one night in the church is the present regime. And during the night at home for the corpse, somebody sits with the corpse the whole night through. The corpse is never left alone. The corpse is alone, but there's always a companion that's sitting on a chair. And normally they'll be saying a few prayers. And if there's 4 or 5 together there, they don't take it too seriously. They tell funny stories.
I've heard of crude things when played at Wilkes, but maybe it wouldn't do to say them. I heard tell, I don't remember, I heard tell of this, some of the boys, you know, will be up to their tricks. They slipped in and they tied strings to the man's hand, or a woman's, whatever it was. And whenever they were at the height of their awakening and really enjoying themselves, these boys slipped up, did the cords out to the window, and they pulled the cords. And of course the body sat up in the coffin, and the people fled, and they swore for anyone that he sat up in the coffin.
They entertain one another, keep themselves awake, and they drink cups of tea.
I thought the Roman Catholic priests did a wise thing. They turned round and they advised the people to bring it into the chapel the night before and have the service in the next morning from the chapel. Well, that cut out a lot of the booze, as I would call it, or drinking. My experience was that the Protestant could drink, but the Roman Catholic could show them how to drink, if you understand what I mean.
The outlook on death is different. In England, when you go to a party, you don't talk about death. And if you do, you're not invited to the party anymore. But in Ireland, they don't mind talking about everything under the sun. More loquacious, perhaps, I don't know. But the outlook seems to be different completely. And children here, they follow when the hearse is going along on the road towards the cemetery. Children all gathered in, they follow the hearse. Entertainment, I suppose, of a type. Children are interested in the funerals. And they seem to love the funerals. Even they go to the graveside, see the grave being filled in, looking into the hole where the coffin has been put down.
Well,
she would always wear a black coat or a black dress. You'd always see her in black for a long while. A black dress, and a black jacket, black shoes, and black stockings, and a black hat. That was the respect, wearing black. All black. All black. Now then, when you went to the funeral and you came back, you would come in the house, wouldn't you? You would sit down, take your gloves off. Everybody had black gloves. And they would have the cup of tea and the sandwich and the cakes, or if there was any lettuce or anything, you'd make a proper tea. There used to be a shop top of Dalton Road, Cannons, and they used to sell little wee gammons hams, little and small ones, about 5 shilling. Well, you'd buy one of them and you'd boil it yourself. You'd boil it before the funeral, and it would be nice and cool. And then the neighbours or the waiter, the women that was making you the tea, would cut that up and make the sandwiches. Now today, they have a big posh tea and a big do, and they don't wear black. They can please themselves what colour they go in. Then none of them goes in very light colours. They all go in a bit of dark stuff.
Years we were actually working together.
40 years.
But I was
But you were
being brought up in the family. I was working probably in some capacity from I was early teens. I remember very well the first time going out to assist my father with dressing a body and shaving. I can still remember that very well, actually. I think it would be true to say that I wasn't just a natural to the business. I had to steel myself to do it.
That was common to both of us. We worked very harmoniously. You know, sometimes we disagreed a wee bit. But on the whole, we always came to agree. As he would say, you know, sometimes he was right and I was wrong, and sometimes I was right and he was wrong. But we you know, we learned what you say, you know, do what most people should do in the world, in Northern Ireland especially. They should learn to agree to disagree. I tried to be the boss. Like he mightn't have thought I was the boss, you know.
At the persuasion of my son, I revisited the battlefields when I was 90 years of age, the first time I had been back. And I went over the same ground where I'd buried the 900 Newfoundland dead. The larks were singing everything was so calm, so peaceful, that I felt that everybody who died there was well and truly resting. And that was the general impression, one of absolute peace. And they would be there and there forever.
I will be buried, I expect, in a Knockbreda cemetery, because the wife is buried there, and I expect to go into the same grave as she is in. I want to live as long as I can, but when my day comes, I feel my day's finished. And I've no fear of it. But I'm not, what to say, looking forward and saying, well, I want to get away. No, I'm still a wee clinging to this world. And I think everybody has, although some people might say otherwise.
I expect to go any time. Oh yeah, but it doesn't worry me. I've had a remarkable life. I'm not saying I'm looking forward to it, by any means. I'm enjoying life very much. I still drive a little tractor and cut all the grass in the garden here, and I've got nearly 4 acres of it. And I have great fun with a jobbing gardener who comes, and he, of course, is a young man. He's a young man of 75. And I pulled his leg about that. I told him the other day he was young enough to be my grandson. And so I still enjoy life, very much indeed.
I'm quite willing of this cremation. I think it's the best thing that ever came out. And bury them, man, because when you go and you bury them in a grave, and you look down that grave, and you see all that water, it runs down the graveside, and you see all the wall, all this sand and that, and you think that's got to go on the top of him. It worries you. But cremation is better. No trouble at all. You just put there and the curtains drawn, no trouble. I think it's the best idea. And it's the cleanest way.
When all is said and done, doesn't matter. What does matter is to go above for the examination. That's the one exam we all have to pass.
Let us face it, if you were down there 20, 30 years, you're just going to be a skeleton. Flesh is dropped off you. Right?
We know very little about the afterlife. Nobody has returned to tell us anything about it as a fact. It's left to the imagination. We can't describe it in the vernacular. Different language, different atmosphere, different experience altogether. Dealing with a different world completely. So the things that we say about the lovely music and the playing harps and lovely flowers and colours, the street paved with lovely pearl stones, this, that and the other, that's all tosh. That's also as trying to cook up your imagination to think of of happiness that is absolutely sublime, and the fulfillment of all your desires and all your wishes. That's what heaven is. But how that comes about, we have to take that on faith.
But you never forget them. Doesn't matter how long they've been dead, you never forget them. They're still with you. They're still with you.
Testimonies to a living past are recorded in this BBC book, The 90s, out now to accompany the series.